Hi, I'm Bob Charles, president of Pullman, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about my personal safety journey and an incident that happened early in my career that really changed safety from a compliance effort to really a core value belief that I hold dear to myself. Fairly early in my career, about 20 years ago, I was a young project manager on a project at a cement plant. We had a mechanical subcontractor working for us, and their role in the project was to remove some ductwork. To achieve their work, they had a Manitowoc 4100 crawler crane on site. It was a tower configuration, so 250 foot of vertical tower and another 150 foot of working boom to allow them to reach the top of the preheat tower. Every morning, before they could power the crane up, our iron worker foreman, Joe, would actually pull a rope that would release a latch, allow the working boom to swing freely, and allow the crane operator to power it up into position. One particular morning, about halfway through the job, the crane operator had inadvertently given a little bit of throttle to the cables and kind of bound up that latching mechanism so that when Joe pulled the rope, it didn't unlatch. The crane operator just saw Joe make that motion, powered things up, gave it full throttle, but because it was bound up, pulled the entire tower over on itself and the crane collapsed. I happened to be in the job trailer at the time, and I heard the emergency sirens go off, and I just remember sprinting across the plant and coming to the backside of the preheat tower where the crane was set up, and it just looked like carnage. As we got around to the front side of the crane tractor, Joe was on the ground, and he was bloodied, his left leg was completely mangled, and it was obvious that he had gotten hit by falling components during the collapse. And what had happened was when he realized it was coming down, he tried to crawl under, hit the ground and crawl under the cab out of harm's way, but the headache ball happened to fall on his left leg and just completely crushed his leg. Joe was rushed to the hospital at that point, but unfortunately he lost his leg that day. They were forced to amputate. So the following day, myself and my safety director, we went to visit Joe. His wife was there, his daughter was there, and on one hand there was a lot of love in the room, a lot of hope, a lot of optimism, because Joe was still there. He was still a husband and father. But we all knew, without saying it, it could have been a lot worse. Like Joe could have died in that incident, in that accident. And his daughter was actually in the hospital bed with him, just kind of hugging her father, sitting next to him. And I remember thinking about, and I was a new father at the time. I had a 1-year-old at home, and thinking about the types of things that fathers do with their daughters. And I just remember thinking about how Joe and his daughter, those activities might not be able to happen or would have to be modified in some kind of way. And as a new father myself, that was very, very impactful. And it was like a wave came over me, and my safety attitude was changed that day. And it really became a belief and a core value in me versus a compliance effort or worried about rules and regulations. It became, for me, for my family, for my teammates and their families, so that no one would have to be impacted the way Joe was, the way his life was going to be impacted for forever. It wasn't long after this incident that we really adopted a safety 24/7 program, which was a behavior-based program. It's really personal culture, personal belief that's been more of the focus since then. And I think that incident really helped drive that shift home in me personally.